Hi everyone, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join me today. My name is Shane, and together we're about to embark on a remarkable journey of self-discovery and celebration of neurodiversity through the RAADS-R Autism Screening Test, short for RAADS. In this video series, we'll explore the RAADS test step by step, unraveling its significance and providing some insights to help you navigate it with confidence and understanding. As someone who identifies as non-binary and gender fluid and navigates life as a high-functioning autistic individual, I've walked a unique path. Today I'm here to share my experiences and knowledge, creating an inclusive and compassionate space for everyone, regardless of where you are on your journey. Today we'll delve into what the RAADS test entails, discuss how it relates to autism, and empower you with strategies for self-care and self-acceptance. Whether you're exploring this test for yourself, supporting someone on their journey, or just seeking knowledge, know that you're not alone. We are a community united by understanding and acceptance. I hope you enjoy the presentation and give a like and subscribe. Thank you. This is the general basis of the RITVO Autism Asperger Diagnostic Scale, revised edition. It's a self-report questionnaire designed to identify all adult autistics who have escaped diagnosis due to a subclinical level presentation. You'll see it's got 80 questions. It should take 20 to 30 minutes, and it's important to know that this is just for educational purposes, that if you're seeking a diagnosis, this is simply just to familiarize yourself, to alleviate maybe any anxiety or nervousness you may have about the test in general. And just let you know what you might be expecting to undergo. You'll see in taking the test that this is a self-report instrument. However, the authors mention that a clinician might help a participant interpret items if they have difficulty understanding the questions, which is true. If you saw the previous questionnaire, some of the questions and supplied answers are a little non-normative. In this, you will see you will have 4 possibilities. I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you if it's true now and when you were young, or if it's true only now in your life, or if this was true only when you were younger than 16, or if what they're asking about has never been true in your life. This test assesses developmental symptoms correlating with the 3 DSM-5 diagnostic categories, including language, social relatedness, and sensory motor. As well, the 4th subscale, circumscribed interest. It consists of 80 statements, and they give you the 4 choices we spoke about. You'll see that the scoring range of the RAADS-R is from 0 to 240. If you score 65 or higher, you are likely autistic, as no neurotypical scored above 64 in the research. So with that in mind, we can go ahead and start taking the test. Starting with taking the test, again, as I mentioned before, it's advisable to perhaps have someone in your life that knows you very well for a long period of time help you take this. For myself, some of my youth is hard for me to remember, so that would be the reason why it'd be good to have perhaps like a parent or someone else that's been with you, a sibling, for a while. So we'll start here. I'm a sympathetic person. This is true only now because I learned this sympathy over time. Often use words and phrases from movies and television and conversations. This is true now and when I was young. I don't read a lot. A lot of these tests will ask if you quote books and stuff, but I don't read a lot. So a lot of mine's like music that I listen to. I'll quote lyrics a lot. I'm often surprised when others tell me I've been rude. And it's true now and when I was young. As someone who's autistic, sometimes I'll say things blunt while they're true. Maybe they're a little abrasive. Sometimes I talk too loudly or too softly and I'm not aware of it. This has always been true. I often don't know how to act in social situations. This is true now and when I was young. I just, I don't know. I often enjoy being alone in a crowd, if that makes any sense to anybody who's here. I can put myself in other people's shoes. I'm going to say this is true only now. Once again, I had to kind of learn empathy, and I think overall this might have given me a stronger sense of empathy because it's a practiced skill. It's something that you have to think about deeper, I guess. I have a hard time figuring out what some phrases mean, like, you are the apple of my eye. This has always been true. In fact, now I kind of like on purpose to mistake things, Can't give you an example off the top of my head, but if there's an opportunity to take a statement in two ways, I enjoy taking it the incorrect way. I only like to talk to people who share my special interest. This is pretty much true now and when I was young. I don't have that opportunity very often, so I talk to everybody, but I really enjoy debating online and talking about special interest, deep level stuff. I focus on details rather than the overall idea. This is very true now and when I was young. I like to program, for instance, and so a lot of the times I get lost as a feature creature where I'll have an idea that I'll want to add, like, oh, this will be cool, this will be cool, this will be cool, and it's like, I'm also in the world of design and engineering and stuff, so I'm very down into the details of things. I always notice how food feels in my mouth. This is more important to me than how it tastes. This is true now, and when I was young, there are certain foods I just cannot, will not even put in my mouth. Just most notably would be soggy breads, like dressing and stuff like that. It's also touch, and it gives me shivers just thinking about touching cotton. It gives me a weird feel in my mouth. Same thing with writing with dry markers. Sound of that. I miss my best friends or family when we are apart for a long time. I love you all, but it's not like, I enjoy seeing everybody. I'd love to interact with people more often, but sometimes I offend others by saying what I am thinking, even if I don't mean to. This is always true. Once again, I'm blunt. I see things in different ways. I have a hard time sometimes just breaking in and saying things. That might be part of ADHD, just feeling like I need to get that out before it's gone. I only like to think and talk about a few things that interest me. That is probably true, but there's a lot of things that interest me. But if it's outside of that, I'd rather go out to eat in a restaurant by myself than by myself than with someone I know. This is never true. A little, probably not so hard now because I just don't care, but like all eyes on me kind of thing, it's just, in my mind, it's odd to go to a restaurant by yourself. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be someone else. Only true when I was younger than 16, like I said, empathy's been a learned thing, so now I very strongly put myself in other people's shoes and correlate how I feel and take from my own experiences that are tangential or parallel to what they're discussing. I've been told I am clumsy or uncoordinated. I'm going to say it's true now and when I was young. Broken some bones in some silly ways. Man, last test asked if you like to spin around. Man, when I was young, I spun around so much I got myself dizzy and fell into the corner of a wall that had a metal, protector on it. Man, I split my head open doing that. Others consider me odd or different. I would say that has always been true. I dress in a feminine style now, but I don't think that's really what's making me odd or different in other people's eyes, because this has not been a all my lifetime thing. So, I understand when friends need to be comforted. No, I don't. I'm really pretty blind to things. Even my own mother, if she's sick, I'm not able to really distinguish between if she's upset, maybe with me, or if she's just under the weather. So it's never true, really. That's why I enjoy clear, concise communication. I am very sensitive to the way my clothes feel when I touch them. How they feel is more important to me than how they look. This is always true. Yeah, it's like I cut the tags out for sure. I love snug fitting things. One of the things I enjoy about dressing feminine is snug dresses and stuff. 20, I like to copy the way certain people speak and act. It helps me appear more normal. Yeah, I'm going to put true now and when I was young, because I've done that for quite a long time, being a professional and being a father. I've had to put on a mask for a very long time trying to maintain employment and stuff. Never really worked, but I tried to do those things to maximize the opportunity and chances and length of employment cycles. 21. It can be very intimidating for me to talk to more than one person at the same time. Verbally, yes, but I debate on forums, and I enjoy speaking to a lot of people. It does give me a lot of internal feedback that's not comfortable all the time. So I'm still going to put true now, even though I enjoy it, it's still very, I don't want to say emotional, but it disturbs the inner calm. I have to act normal to please other people and make them like me. That is true now and when I was young, especially now that I dress the way I feel. There's a lot of people, and it's an unfortunate world that people are more inclined to speak up and say something negative than they are positive, but that's the world we live in. So the desire to act normal is definitely increased. Meeting new people is usually easy for me. I get highly confused when someone interrupts me when I am talking about something I'm very interested in. Man, ADHD, man. And that's why I was saying earlier about sometimes blurting things out. I feel like it needs to get out now before before something else comes in or mixes or, so. 25. It's difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling when we are talking. This is true now and when I was young. I'm really pretty much blind to someone's intent, so everything's copacetic until it's not. I like having a conversation with several people, for instance, around a dinner table, at school, or at work. So I'll debate online, 100 people at a time. That's fine, but no, that'd be too much. I take things too literally, so I often miss what people are trying to say. It's true now and when I was young. Like I said, I have an alternate way of seeing most things. It is very difficult for me to understand when someone is embarrassed or jealous. It is true, yeah. I can't say that I've ever seen anybody embarrassed or jealous without it being like on a video where like, oh, look at this person embarrassed or something, you know. So some ordinary textures that do not bother others feel very offensive when they touch my skin. True now and when I was young. Like I said, man, cotton number one. Dear Lord, I don't know why. I felt like they used to put cotton in aspirin jars, and I literally had to get someone to take that out for me. I get extremely upset when the way I like to do things is suddenly changed. I would say that's true. I mean, it's not like I go into a rage or anything like that, but you know, it definitely does disturb the day. I've never wanted or needed to have what other people call an intimate relationship. You know, I'm going to say that's true only now. You know, I always wanted to be a father, and that might be more of a psychological thing because I didn't have a father for most of my childhood growing up. So I was a father of four, had a long marriage. It is difficult for me to start and stop a conversation. I need to keep going until I'm finished. Yes. I don't like not being able to complete. I mean, it's, you know, it's like if you were reading a story and you just cut out the last 4 chapters. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, the whole point is just left in limbo. I speak with a normal rhythm. I think you can see now that that's just simply not true. The same sound, color, or texture can suddenly change from very sensitive to very dull. Yes. Most notably sounds, to where it's just like, man, sometimes in a store, like especially if it's got some chirping that won't stop, I'll have to leave because it's just, you know, it's not like I'm being hypersensitive or anything, but it's just, it gets to the point where it's uncomfortable, to the point where it's more comfortable just not to be there, especially if you don't know when it's going to stop. The phrase, "I got you under my skin," makes me uncomfortable. Right. Yeah, man. That does kind of... I mean, I know what it's trying to say, but I mean, like I say, man, I take most things literal. I mean, you know, if someone said that to me, I would take it the literal way and be like, I don't think I'd fit under there. I barely fit in my own skin. Sometimes the sound of a word or a high-pitched noise can be painful to my ears. True. That's what I was saying about that chirping in the store. I am an understanding type of person. True only now. Done a lot of mental health care. I think about things a lot, empathize a lot, so... I do not connect with characters in movies and cannot feel what they feel. I mean, how are you supposed to know that, really? I'm going to say it's probably never true. I cannot tell when someone is flirting with me. Yeah, no. Yeah, like I said, I'm blind to intent, pretty much. much on most things. I can see in my mind in exact detail things I am interested in. This has always been true. I've always excelled in like 3D design and stuff like that. I keep lists of things that interest me, even when they have no practical use. For example, sports statistics, train schedules, calendar dates, historical facts and dates. True now and when I was young, this would probably be more into theoretical physics, cosmology, quantum physics, things that really have no practical use whatsoever. When I feel overwhelmed by my senses, I have to isolate myself to shut them down. This is true. Like I said, sometimes even talking to a lot of people or talking a lot makes me just overwhelmed. I just need to, just gets to a point, not that I need to rest, it just gets to a point where I can't do it anymore. I like to talk things over with my friends. I used to have a lot more friends when I was 16. I've gotten used to not having friends. So I cannot tell if someone is interested or bored with what I am saying. That's very true. And I'm sure most people are, because I talk about inane things again, like quantum physics and stuff like that, theoretical physics. It can be very hard to read someone's face, hand, and body movements when they are talking. Yep. The same thing, like clothes or temperature, can feel very different to me at different times. Yes. Especially temperature. I feel very comfortable with dating or being in social situations with others. That's never true. I tell people I have no fear, but I'm full of anxieties. So it's not that I'm afraid to go and do these things. It's just, just a wall that keeps me from doing it. I try to be as helpful as I can with other people tell me their personal problems. I say it's true now, and when I was young, I've always been a bleeding heart. I've been told to have an unusual voice, for example, flat, monotone, childish, or high-pitched. True now, and when I was young. People often confuse me with being British or Northerner, for instance. I don't know why. Sometimes a thought or a subject gets stuck in my mind and I have to talk about it even if no one is interested. True now and when I was young. Some of my most embarrassing moments in childhood is because of that. I do certain things with my hands over and over again, like flapping, twirling sticks or strings, waving things by my eyes. This has always been true. I get stressed, even do the. I have never been interested in what most of the people I know consider interesting. This is true, and not because I don't care about other people, it's just that their hobbies usually don't align with my hobbies. And I am considered a compassionate type of person. I think true now, and when I was young, I asked that online, and I was mainly the type of person that people said that they viewed me as. I get along with other people by following a set of specific rules that help me look normal. For most of my life, true now when I was young. And even now, I dress different, but I know there's rules to society that, even if they don't make sense to me, It is very difficult for me to work and function in groups. And that's unfortunate too, because I've been most of my life in kind of management and upper positions. Like I say, I'm a programmer and stuff, so I'll make a lot of tools for the company and stuff. Some people will see it as narcissistic, but I'm deeply studied in the things that I do. So when I do them, it's hard for me to release control of things. If you want something done right, do it yourself, is the saying. So when I'm talking to someone, it is hard to change the subject. If the other person does so, I can get very upset and confused. It's not like, I'm fucking pissed off, but it's like, it's just hard for my mind to switch over sometimes. And in fact, maybe sometimes I'll try to interweave the two conversations, almost by speaking in analogies to what I was discussing and what they were discussing. So it's almost an interweaving discussion. Sometimes I have to cover my ears to block out painful noises like vacuum cleaners or people talking too much, yes. Like I said, those pitches and chirps and stuff like that. Other things, but I can chat and make small talk with people. It's never true, yeah. I mean, if I need to convey something to you, that's fine. Sometimes things that should feel painful or not, for instance, when I hurt myself or burn my hand on the stove. This is true now and when I was young. Now, I broke my leg, and it's kind of, they said it was the worst break they've ever seen. It usually happens in car wrecks, once again because I'm clumsy, but yeah, I mean, I dragging myself around the house and stuff, and just hanging out until they get there. So I broke it. I'm like, yeah, pretty sure I broke my leg. When talking to someone, I have a hard time telling when it is my turn to talk or listen. This is true now and when I was young. I guess I get lost in my own thoughts sometimes. And sometimes, man, I'm gone. I'm zoned out, on some other tangent in my own mind. I am considered a loner by those who know me best. It's true now and when I was young, even when I had a bunch of friends. I mean, we'd hang out, but I'd do a lot by myself, built ramps and stuff by myself. Did a lot by myself, still do. I usually speak in a normal tone. I don't really think this is ever really true. It's usually low and mumbly, That's what I've been told. It sounds normal to me, but I like things to be exactly the same day after day, and even small changes in my routine upsets me. This is pretty true now, and when I was young, I get on kicks where there's just one food thing that I eat pretty consistently. I won't say constantly, but like all I do is drink Dr. Pepper or coffee. There's other things, that'll get on kicks that I'll eat until I just get sick of it. How to make friends and socialize is a mystery to me. It's true now and I was young. I'm nearing 50 years old. Man, still, I wouldn't be able to tell you. It calms me to spin around or rock in a chair when I'm feeling stressed. This is true now and when I was young. A lot of times I'll rock back and forth, but I'll not do that out in society, for instance, because of those rules, and the masking. The phrase, "he wears his heart on his sleeve," does not make sense to me. True, only when I was younger than 16. I mean, I understand. I mean, that was not too bad. I mean, if I'm in a place where there are many smells, textures to feel, noises, or bright lights, I feel anxious or frightened. That's true now. I'm not frightened, but, it's just a lot of input. Even now with these studio lights. It's a lot to me. It's kind of distressing and too much for my eyes. Dull ache because it's so bright. I enjoy bright light, it's not in my face. I can tell when someone says one thing but means something else. This is never true. Like I said, a lot of times I'll flip the meaning of things, you know. So much so that now I do it on purpose, just to be humorous to my own self. I like to be by myself as much as I can. This is true now and when I was young. I'll go and meditate in the woods, for instance, or go camping by myself in my youth. Spend a lot of my days by myself now. I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they are on filing cards, and I pick out the ones I need by looking through the stack and finding the right one. It's just chaos up there. It's just, I wouldn't know how I remember the things that I remember, but I do know a lot of things. I retain a lot of knowledge. Sometimes I'm not even aware. Like I'll say a word, and I'm like, I think that's the right word, but I'll look it up, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't really super aware on, frontal memory of what exactly the word means, but subconsciously, I knew that word would be more precise to specify the emotion or intent in whatever I was saying. The same sound sometimes seems very loud or very soft, even though I know it has not changed. It's true now and when I was young. I enjoy spending time eating and talking with my family and friends. That's never true. I enjoy speaking with strangers more. Why? I'm not really sure. I don't know. I can't tolerate things I dislike, like smells, texture, sounds, or colors. This is true now and when I was young. Like I was saying, man, trying to get into a bottle of aspirin through cotton was a nightmare for me. I don't think they put that in there anymore, thank God. I don't like being hugged or held. This is true now and when I was young, and I love being hugged, but man, it would only have to be someone that I was in love with. I can handle a friendly hug as that's the protocol and expected format for society, but it's not like, I would like to go into a room and get a hug from 20 strangers. That would upset me. When I go somewhere, I have to follow a familiar route, or I can get very confused and upset. This is true now and when I was young. Thank God for GPS. Even now, if I'm trying to follow someone's directions and I'm getting lost, I get frantic and I can get panicked and a little upset. One of my daughters got upset with me for that happening one time. I was trying to take her friend back home. It was dark at night and I couldn't really see very well. It was, got a little snippy because of, not being mad, but just being overwhelmed, It is difficult to figure out what other people expect of me. This is true now when I was young. Once again, I love direct communication. I do much better at a job than I do in a personal relationship, because a job has tasks and deadlines, so you can know what's expected of you and if you're doing a reasonable good job. Because there's feedback too, especially in the design world. You get red lines and stuff. So I like to have close friends. But never true. I've always had friends, but I've never really been one to spill my guts to people and stuff. I don't know. People tell me that I give too much detail. True now, and when I was young, I told often that I overshare. TMI. I am often told that I ask embarrassing questions. It's true now, and when I was young. Sometimes I even say embarrassing things because I'm not really, it's like to me some words don't have any social impact on me, but when I say them to other people, it's very impactful. So, I tend to point out other people's mistakes. This is true now and when I was young, and it's not like ridicule or trying to belittle people. It's just about that's not correct. As an autistic person, I have almost an OCD-like thing about correctness and what's true and factual. I have a big problem with lies and stuff like that. So now that we've got all 80 done, we can see what the score is. I've got a total of 213. You'll see the other scores there. And you can download this as a PDF. And so now what does scores mean? So I got 213. It says 65 is the minimum score at which autism is considered. 90 is a strong indication of autism, although non-autistics may score as high as this. 130 is the mean score of autistic people. It's a strong evidence for autism. 160 is a very strong evidence for autism. 227 is the maximum score for an autistic people acquired in the research papers. I believe you can see some information about how many people were tested if you want to go to see the study. And 240 is the maximum possible score. Again, with me having a 213, that's going to put me pretty close to the maximum. You do need to note that no single test is conclusive, and not every autistic person necessarily scores above the defined threshold on each test. If you score low on the RAADS-R but still think you could be autistic, try taking a few other autism tests, and we'll do some more over time here. And the statements per subscales, it will just tell you which questions in the questionnaire align to which of the 4 groups that it tests in, if you're interested in diving deeper in. I'm really only interested in the surface level, just the showing of how the test is, maybe how you might think about some of these questions and answer some of the questions. But I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it might have helped you find some understanding, some calm, or given you some motivation to perhaps go and get a diagnosis for yourself. Please know that, again, that this video and this test is just a educational tool. It's really necessary for you to go to a trained professional to get these tests, because sometimes you might not understand the question in the right context, and if you have someone there to guide you, they might be able to more accurately put the question in context so that you can get a more responsive answer in line with what the test is expecting, so that you may get a more accurate score. But once again, I thank you for your time. My name is Shane Womack. I have adult autism and ADHD, and I appreciate your time, and I would love for you to give me a like, follow, subscribe, whatever you can do. I appreciate it, and spread this around if you can. Thank you.